yeah. Okay, here I am. I might need to check because I am having the most difficult times with my internet. I don't know why. I only know that it is it died. It died for a second. It even died for a second. It is amazing. Yeah, it might not be possible for me to stream today, even taking into account that it has such spikes. Anyways, let me go to here. Hello, Telly. Hello, Runspoon. Hello, Saxter. Hello, What Watchers. Hello, Lurkers. Hello, myself. Hello. Here we are. We are finally congregated once again to hear the Tiny Potato ramble, as always, without any kind of real meaning behind it. Let me get some things ready, some other tinier, simpler things. What? What do you want? You want that? Is that what do you want? I don't What the fuck is com? I don't I don't know what is com. Sorry about I don't know what was that you wanted. I just gave you my Discord in case I hope you like it. Now, before getting more distracted, let me list of things for today. We have this to think. We also have this to talk. And we also have something very interesting, that is a banana for me to eat. Here. Well, I cannot make any sound with a banana because it is a banana, so bananas make no sound, sadly. So we will have to just accept the fact that somehow I am here. What do you want? Vanish. Wait. You might be looking for a command that I have disabled. Probably. You need to use exclamation commands. Vanish. If it was one of the most common commands to use, I probably have disabled it. Why? I don't know. I didn't really think about why. I just did it. I kind of disabled every other command aside from, I think it was 8val or something like that. Commands, yeah, commands. There it is. You have all the commands to your availability there. But well, today I guess I can kind of talk about it, taking into account that it didn't come to be a reality. I wanted to play. No, I wanted to have a little bit of fun with Mr. Pizzaman, Comet Crust. I wanted to do a little bit of a collab with him because he's a really stressed, but it wasn't really possible. We were really close to getting there, but it wasn't possible. I wanted to do it, and I really wanted to, more than anything, have a great time with the pizza boy. But do not really ask me why. We weren't able to reach an agreement in that sense. So we will have to see who we perform the next time. Yes, there is an OnlyFans command, and the most kind of normal commands were disabled. It is amazing. Right. If you're really interested, you should check the OnlyFans. It is also in the description. You have my OnlyFans link there if you really are that interested. Okay, I am eating once again a banana. Yes. And it is once again fucking fermented. Also. I will have to. You are not talking specifically about anything. Let me check. Fermented bananas. How does it happen? Why did it happen once again? Let me see. Okay. Because I left a banana in the simple freezer. It is killing me. So what what are you doing? Why are you pinging somebody? Are you out of your mind? Sono bueno. Let me check that name. That is a very interesting name. Thank you, Mr. Ronspoon. No, dear. Just in case. We do not want any kind of bot over here, so let me be sure about what is this. Well, I haven't talked about it on the last streams, but I try to constantly, just in case, have a little bit of a checking about the possible bots. The last day I banned someone was yesterday. I had out of nowhere like 3 or 4 bots watching, stuck here in the 24/7 watching list, so it already deserves some banning. Now we're better than ever before. At least I don't know how to see whenever I enter to simply check. Fucking bots. I hate them. Anyways, I am very close to being done with my banana, so sorry if it was obnoxious or not. Where are monster? What else monster? In reality, it is amazing. I haven't been eating my fruits that consistently throughout the rest of my life, so now it is really great to see that it is working compared to any other time. Well, I mean, in a sense, we did a little bit of stalking, but this seems to be a weird account at the very least. But it also seems to be a human, so I don't know. Have a great one, Mr. Sono Bueno. Oh yeah, a full schizo moment. Anyways, let me go through the banana and we're ready to rumble today. Well, in reality, I wanted to know a lot of things before and while streaming, but I wouldn't really try to check. I am already struggling with the. I think I need to check about it because I think I have a fucking virus. Because every time I close, every time I close the WhatsApp process, it opens itself once again. I downloaded a tool to find the root process, also disable it, it is anyways reactivating itself. So I don't know. We will see if my PC dies. I still have my phone to, at the very least, say, oh yeah, my PC died. So we will see. For now, let me take a minute. I will go draw the pill, and I will be instantly back. Um, Here, transition, and let me mute myself. You do not need to hear anything. Oh, oh my god, I'm sorry, I hit the mic while picking up the earbuds. So, well, now, list of things. We have some things to talk about today, so, well, as I was it isn't that we are obligated to follow the list, it is rather that I want to have the list, just in case. Aside from that, also, while I was leaving, I saw this. Yes, 25%, no, 28% of drop frames. This is going completely well. I like my internet, I love it. Yes, yes, yes. So, I'm sorry. Now, going back to the regular programming stuff. We have, first of all, the list of simple things to think about, so to speak. We haven't. I think the last time we did it was yesterday. No, we shouldn't have done anything like that yesterday. Yesterday I didn't even stream at night, so I am pretty sure I went yesterday early in the morning. I made the, what is it, the emotes after, wait, timestamp, ready for what about it, 15, let's say 14 there it is. Now going back, the most, I got lost for a second. Yesterday we did emotes. After emotes we did some, what was it, we did some, when did I do it? At the afternoon? Did I only, no, it, I never changed from the be right back screen. Haha, 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 we're back. Okay, sorry for that minor inconvenience. Man. It is fine. It also can happen. So, well, anyways, and even if I don't remember what else we did yesterday, at least I know today I tried to do a little bit more of a reading about the Mahabharata. I got a lot angry, and I ended up thinking at a certain point about quitting that book, but I kind of, what would be the correct way to say it, thought about it. I wasn't completely fine with the idea of directly dropping it, so I tried my best to not drop it. And yeah, basically that. I spent a lot of time thinking about the probabilities, about, and most importantly, as I said the other day, I really want to read it because it is something that at one point or another I feel is kind of an obligation to read. At the end of the day, we are not completely, not even completely, we are not even remotely separated one culture from another, so it makes no sense to not even try to read it. I will, and yeah, basically, while thinking about that, was that I ended up reaching the conclusion of me, and probably the best way to go about it, going or being the simple act of accepting that I will have to spend a lot of time. At the end of the day, I hope, I really hope I am already at least at 20 or 30% done with the glossary of words. I hope I will not have to search for even more words, or as I said before, that it is at the very least 30% that I already did. I wouldn't hope it to be even close to completion. That's why I didn't even say 50%, but at the same time, it is it isn't that it is worrying. It is, as I said earlier when I was trying to read, it is boring to see that it was completely possible to translate the things that were on that book in an adequate way. So if they had the possibility, and even I also tried to find the who's it called, the newest version of it, and I didn't find anything. Hello, Mr. Vingya. Thank you for coming. I I hope you had a great session with with the with the guy in the Dempacor. But anyways, I hope you have a nice stay, a nice lurk, and a great day or a great time zone, as one would say. And well, I think that's basically it. Basically, I will see. We will keep seeing if I find the possibility and the time. Not the time. If I find it in myself to keep reading that book, uh, because even if it wasn't that great, the whole experience, there were some parts that were really interesting. I think on the first reading we were able to go a little bit deeper, like 3 or 4 pages, but on the other one, on this second reading, there was at the very least one paragraph that was great, so to speak. And the only thing I kind of fear is the fact that because I am spending not so much time not paying attention to what I am reading, but rather to what I am seeing and trying to understand, so to speak. It is that I find it in myself not a necessity, but a probability having to reread it again. If it will be a constant occurrence, me missing the content of the books because I wasn't able to pay attention to them. See, simply as that. And yeah, sniffer. And well, aside from that, thank you for lurking, Mr. Vingia. Let me now tend to really go back to the list. I did a little bit of rambling because I wanted to get it out of my system in a sense. I was very interested in it. It isn't that I want to continue it or that I do not want to continue the book. At the end of the day, texts like that, like the Mahabharata, carry with themselves a lot of importance. So I find it meaningless to not even try it, to drop it. How much did I read? Not even 5% of it. How can I say that it, even if it has the problems of the translation, it is a bad book? By itself, it was a very interesting story. So yeah, we will see. We will see. The only thing I will try to do after finishing the Mahabharata will be to find something shorter to read. That is my next objective, so to speak. I don't want to go. I taking into account how much it is taking me right now. I will I will assess that I might as well end up spending like 30, 40 hours trying to read that book at the very least, or well, 30 or 40 more hours from what I have already spent. So yeah, aside from that, sorry for once again rambling about this tiny topic. Let me make the timestamp just in case. Let me do this. I am getting. Before continuing with the list, I am very twisted. The way that I am sitting, and I have some pain. Sorry. There it is. Now, really. First idea. Next. Really starting with what I had to do before. I have been reading a lot about the concept of not thinking. Well, just in case, the title of the next thought is the idea of not thinking, only facing things, or only face things. While I was, so to speak, going to a lot of what will be the correct way to say it? Helpful people, self improvement, gurus, and all of that. There was a lot of remarks on the idea that you might as well try not to really think that much when you do not understand how to think, so to speak, because not everybody really has a correct way to think, and personally do not it yeah, I do not see that idea. I would like at the end of the day, as I will present later on today, it is kind of weird, so to speak, that you need to stop thinking. In general, it is one of the most. Going back to what I said the other day, it is a tool that we have for a lot of things in general, and if we do not use those tools in a meaningful way, we end up losing them. In this case, the act of thinking, the continuity of thinking is very weird to lose. So stop. Thank you, Kamun. Thank you a lot for coming. I hope you have you have a great night, and keep it up. Do not get depressed, Mr. Kamun. I also, if you are hearing this, I enjoyed the bit about the puking that you did. I watched that. I loved it. For a second, I even got worried. So, claps for you. But well, back now back to the idea. Yeah, it was great. It was great. So you have a certain potential there, so to speak, a certain entertainer potential. I lost the rest of the stream because I at that time, after like 10 minutes after that, I had to leave, but at the very least I enjoyed what I hope was something that you really also enjoy to do. No, sorry, but going back to the idea, Meaningless. The point is not me attacking an idea, but rather trying to think as if it were my idea. I will say yes. I will try to understand when that you it will be okay to tell somebody that that person specifically might not need to really think about anything when the situation at hand is that they do not really find a comfortable place in their minds. As a common example would be, for example, uh, sorry for repeating myself, uh, when something that actively or passively do with those who are depressed in the actual state of beings. A lot of times we medicate people that is depressed in, in the search of an stopping of the mind, so to speak. Not because they might really need, for example, what mood boost or dopamine, adenosine, and endorphin releases in their brain, or antagonistic patterns to stop those. What was the correct way to say those? Those hormones from affecting their brain, but rather what we try to do is to dose off the cerebral cortex in a way that it slows its own activity. And nowadays also we have the possibility. There are here. They aren't here. Wait. Give me a second. They should be here. I made them and well, yes, I made them correctly, but there. Let me check. They should be around here. They aren't here. They are here. Here I have them. Here it is. Your modes are pending approval. So that that's what happened. We have no modes yet. They are needing to be completely approved, I guess. Yes. No, well, it isn't that they are pending on my side. They are approval pending, so to speak. Just in case they are checking. I understand. I wouldn't really try to complain. I understand the idea that some people really likes to upload not safe for work emotes, so we need to have a little bit of patience with our dear Twitch simple platform. But yeah, also at the very least we have the emotes on the Discord. That is something that has happened. If you go to the Discord and you have what was the name? Discord Nitro, you will also be able to show you some emotes on your favorite Discord servers. So but well, sorry, I got kind of distracted. Going back to what I was trying to say before. I will kind of understand the idea of not really paying attention to what to the mind when one isn't really feeling okay in the mind, so to speak. But at the same time, it is also a responsibility that we have with ourselves to find our own mind comfortable, or at the very least a challenging place, not even if it isn't completely comfortable, because sometimes we have to face things that aren't comfortable by themselves. We have always the possibility of finding comfort in the simple act of knowing that even in those times, so to speak, we are okay. But yeah, the, I would think the correct way to help somebody to not think is to give them the tool of not thinking when they are having difficulty staying okay with what they are actually thinking. That is the only moments where I at the very least find it okay. And it isn't even something completely agreed from my side, because I would rather give somebody the tools for them to find a way to think properly than to give them medication or directly remove them from thinking. That is my point of view on the matters. But yeah, I guess sometimes you have to consider it a little bit. But well, wait, I am already kind of letting the other side win, so to speak, because I personally I wouldn't let anybody not think by the simple fact that it is the ideology says, you know what, it is okay to not think. You are already giving them some kind of leeway in that sense. It will be easier to not, yeah, it will be easier to not give them that much freedom, so to speak. Not that I wouldn't give anybody freedom, but it is easier to not have. I don't know. It is weird. It is really weird. I in reality, even if I try it, I cannot completely agree with the idea that, you know what, it is okay to not think. Nah, man. You need to find a way to enjoy thinking. And if if you leave behind the responsibility of thinking, thus leaving behind the idea that you also need to enjoy. You need to stay in your mind. You cannot. Aside from that, there is no possible way to stop thinking, so to speak. So, why would you recommend anybody to do so? Well, yes, there are other ways, as I said before. Drugs, any kind of legal or illegal drug, there is a way, but I don't like that way. Now, back or next, so to speak. It was great, but it already stressed me a lot. Session. We have already 35 minutes. 35 duty. And well, in reality, I kind of made the counter argument. The next idea, as I said before, it really is something that I do not like to accept. The point of view, oh yeah, you might need to not think. What? What? Why would nobody need to not think? The only way? No, there isn't a way to not think. And the only correct thing to say in that regard is you might need to find another way to think about the problem. You need to live how you were seeing the events before, but you do not need to stop thinking simply. Even if you, for example, even if you were to realize in, in the long run the same type of actions, uh, the same type of mechanical actions, so to speak, basically those who require of you only a certain type of movement that at the end of the day can be kind of automatized in a sense, even if that was your reality, even in that moment you do not have the leisureliness of not thinking. you are moving your mind from what you are doing in the present, so to speak, to to think about other things. There is no way for to stop the mind. So I don't know. I find it kind of a very idiotic thing to say. Why would you really recommend anyone that it is better always to keep thinking, even if sometimes I will say, or well, I already said it, sometimes even if it is hurtful, the act of thinking or the idea of thinking about something specific, when you do so, you are at the very least addressing the problems, and at the very least you are recognizing what you are and what it means to be hurting. You cannot try to change a situation without really understanding what it is. So it makes zero sense to tell somebody to stop basically taking taking into account what is happening in their lives, and while doing so resolve those same situations. You cannot, there is nothing that you can do by just stop thinking. There is nothing that you can solve as you can. Yes, the correct way to say it is you need to change how you are thinking, but you cannot stop thinking about anything. Problems do not disappear by themselves. You only need to find a way to think about any kind of situation that was created in your mind from another point of view, rather than to say, oh yeah, do not think, brother, it is okay, you deserve it, you do not have to. No, worrying is one of the parts of life, one of the most important parts of life. Do you really want to not worry? I don't think so. But that is kind of only a continuation of what I said before. Another, and also yes, I might as well need to relax a little bit. I'm already completely, or not completely, but at the very least angry because of that. Give me a second to relax a little bit more and try to give another idea about why thinking is okay. Yes, I will. I will also say at the very least that when you are thinking, you are occupying your mind in a fructiferous activity, even if you do not see it in the moment. When the situations arrive, you have already created in your own mind responses to things, because it is in a certain way ingrained in the human nature to think about the things that not only are and have, but also will happen to you. So yeah, I wouldn't say there is anything to gain by just simply not thinking. You will rather need to always be in the constant of thinking. Yeah, I won't try to keep going on anymore. At the end of the day, there is nothing, or there isn't that much to gain right now. Yeah, no thinking, no thinking. Ah, literally, here, here another person, here another person. Do not think by yourself. Get propaganda in your mind. Wait. Okay. There it is. Okay, thinking. We have another. What is the next thing? Yeah. This was a very interesting one. I saw it. What is it? I That thought came to me. I don't completely remember when. I know it is kind of recent that it appeared in my mind, so to speak. But basically, what I have been trying to compose an idea of is there really anything that is completely unachievable? Or is it more like we tend to think about those things as completely unachievable? Because time and time again, we find that what the human itself tries to propose, so to speak, in any kind of field is something that with enough time dedication and the correct amount of or the correct the correctly put efforts is possible to obtain. For yeah, it it is something that might need too much explanation, but even if we today do not understand what it means, sometimes in the past it was completely impossible to think about an object that was going to fly through the air and to move a human from one side to the earth to directly to another in record times, so to speak. And it was only possible because somebody proposed that idea, and even if that exact same person that started with the concept of flying itself wasn't completely able to achieve it, I think that in this case is a lie. In this particular example, uh, those ideas end up being continued. Yes, for example, even cancer research is something that has been going on almost as long as the own medicine has existed in the humanity. As long as we accept it as something solvable, we always try to find ways to create solutions for it. And when you have in your head an okay, so to speak, or you accept the possibility that it is whatever you are trying to do an impossible objective, that is the moment when it really becomes impossible, because you are only shutting yourself off from the possibility itself. At the end of the day, I wouldn't really find anything completely, and as one will say, from the top of my mind, I don't know if there is anything completely impossible. The only way to think about whatever we want to say as impossible is when you try to set up objectives that are in that sense really impossible to achieve in the immediate time, so to speak. You cannot tomorrow wake up with a solution for hunger in the whole world, so to speak. There are, if you're thinking of a problem and you need to create a solution for it, you need to always dedicate it, dedicate to it, and dedicate to the possible ways that it might also fail enough time, because even if you do not think that it will directly fail, you need at the very least to have in your mind the idea that you always need to have a backup plan or another way to keep going on with whatever it is you are trying to achieve. For example, going back to the planes concept, even if a plane isn't designed to fail, in the minor probability of a plane ended up with all of its motors destroyed, it has emergency ways of landing, it has tools, even for example, if it runs out of um, what is it, gas, it also has tools to keep itself in the air enough time so that it can land safely in the time and in the capabilities that the pilot has. Because even if it isn't designed to fail, it is needed to have containment measures for every kind of thing. So I will really say there isn't anything completely impossible. The only, yeah, even For example, even if you were to take into account other humans in your formula with enough time given to it, it is possible to achieve anything. I say here, and I keep my word. But yeah, I do not really find anything to not be by itself possible. I will say it is more, yeah, it will be easier to simply give up on the idea of anything being impossible than to find anything really impossible. Because even if you were to go to the most exaggerated examples of you cannot bend the laws of reality, are you sure about that? We don't even have the technology for doing that. How is it that you can say with complete leisureliness that it is impossible to change something that we haven't on its whole harnessed, so to speak? Yes, and that already drive my mind, so I'm sorry. Moment for me to keep going. Next topic, before that, timestamp. Well, yeah. Aside from that, it is. I think before continuing with the next idea, I think it is kind of noticeable that they kind of follow a train of thought, so to speak. They aren't completely unrelated, because in this case, it is related in the sense that whatever it is you are trying to achieve might as well be difficult, but you also need to find a kind of not enjoyment but acceptance in the fact that it will be difficult, whatever it is you are doing. There is nothing we can do that doesn't have a difficulty on itself, and if it is something that if there is something we can obtain without difficulty, most of the times we do not really do so. In a certain way, that's, for example, why even in today's world we haven't completely turned now to enjoy the most simple kind of media, so to speak, because at the end of the day, what is really stopping you from watching a green screen, a white screen, a blue screen? At the end of the day, that is entertainment. Why do you think it isn't? It can be entertainment, but we decided that it was better to consume something that on itself has a story, a complex drama, a complex, what is it, a complex arrangement of ideas, because even if we are trying to entertain ourselves, a lot of times we end up doing so with things that also occupy your mind. It never, or almost never, because even on kids entertainment we give them problems or solvable and understandable problems, even if, or sometimes even with those problems being self-contained, so to speak. Because yes, even in video games, that is kind of the most common trope, so to speak. You are given a tool, you are given lessons on how to use that tool, and you are later on given difficult ways to utilize that tool later on. For example, you are given what a box means, you are given the possibility of moving a box, and later on you might learn that there are some places that you cannot take whatever it is or wherever your box. You need to also move your box in a confined space, so to speak, so you cannot always find not the same, but the solutions as simple as the first one, so to speak. So it is it is logical to think in a sense that everything on itself is difficult or carries some kind of difficulty. And I was talking only about entertainment, but it also is applied to whatever we are objectives in general. Whether it is a career objective, whether it is a job objective, we always have to understand that we are not going for this thing. Uh, for example, even if you are not really taking action, a lot of times you end up thinking about, or the average person end up thinking about how bad is it to really be facing others, or when you are not given enough pay, so to speak. And even if you are not taking action to earn or to try an argument for a better pay, a better payment, you're at the very least occupying your mind with the problem of you needing a better pay, and you might be trying to find ways to solve that problem. But if it were something so difficult, you would have already left that place, so to speak. There isn't a difficulty that we cannot really not overcome, because the most prone example in this case is death. At least for now, we have no way of overcoming death, at least for now. But aside from that, or any kind of similar situation, you really have no excuse, so to speak, to stop at any other plausible problem, I would say. But yeah, I don't completely know. It might as well need some more time, but I already have been going for too long already, so I might as well move to the next topic. Sorry. There it is. I dropped my headphones. Sorry. There it is. I don't know how I dropped my headphones. I don't even have an idea how it happened. Let me find the message. I should have it around here. Where is it? Here it is. Things to talk about. We have to. Well, basically, moving on. This case, as always, just in case. Simple warning. What we did before was literally brainstorming ideas and mostly sentences into complex, more developed ideas. Why? Because it is necessary, and we are subject to hitting a potato as long as you stay here. So I'm sorry, no way to stop it. Here, things in this case. Now we are really going to things that the potato wants to talk about, things that the potato might already know, but in some senses, at the very least, wants to revisit or refine, reconnect, rewire in his mind. So, first topic: the different interpretations that the same subject can have. Oh yeah, well, what I can really say before anything else is sorry. I ended up giving it a very complex definition when in reality it only means that anything can be viewed from a lot of points. there is nothing subjective, so to speak, because this idea came to me when I was revisiting nihilism. Nihilism. So, how is it pronounced? Nihilism. Nihilism, I think. And basically, those people have a very funny way to think. I I find, because you cannot really remove from anything the complete nature. If you were to remove any kind of connotation that anything has, you might as well not give any word or any objective reality a definition. Why? Because it is always needed to have a context, and in these cases, you cannot really talk about, for example, a situation without accepting that it might be for some people depression, for some people something to be happy. You really need to accept that it always has different interpretations, and you also need to accept the idea that you you cannot face something as a complete one-handed or one-sided reality. Even if you were to try to make someone, so to speak, a complete villain, you also need to accept sometimes that those people, even if you are not willing to humanize them, at the end of the day are human. Unless you are dealing with a computer, so to speak, you cannot give to anybody one-sidedness of anything, and even less with objects. At the end of the day, it is us who give meanings to the objects. You cannot say, oh yeah, fork. A fork is only used for picking up objects, so to speak. You might as well also use a fork as a hammer. You might also use a fork as a spoon if you're willing to do it. Literally nothing stops you from doing so. When you decide to categorize things and to also cancel the idea of everything having an, a flowing state, you are not really achieving anything. You are only hurting your, yes, in this case, I will say your own ways of developing more complex ideas. You cannot categorize something and say it is only used for this particular reason. You might as well find later on with very specific things, tools that are in those cases specific to something. But if you are in the general sense, I would say 90% of the time or 99% of the time, to be more exaggerated, you cannot say that something is completely one-sided. We live literally based on definitions. You cannot remove any definition from something and say, yeah, this is this and nothing else, or this is X definition and everything else is unnecessary. No, it is impossible to think like that and live a healthy life, I think. But well, also it really is weird because even no, unless you think like that, you might as well have just heard a lot of nonsense. Because only when I faced someone that found on his mind that this was correct to be like that, I understood that there was already people deciding at a certain point to strip out of anything meaning or subjective meaning. It is weird to face people like that. Mostly because they always try to not demoralize, but disarm you of every possible tool to hold a real argument. I will say people like that isn't really argumentative. They only want to win whatever it is they are talking about. There is no way to make them have a general consensus with you. Or they win or they lose. There isn't a middle ground to reach. But well, that is another topic. We are here talking about how easy or hard it is to discuss anything. So next, and all at this point in time, we need to keep going to the next idea. As I said before, we have in this case how much time is being spent on meaningless things. Oh yeah, yes. This one isn't so simple as the last one, because this is kind of related to what I was thinking before, what we were loudly thinking before. Even if you have the possibility of trying to give different meanings to things, in this case, you need to accept that entertainment for the sake of it isn't really helpful. It isn't that only if you use it to heal yourself, so to speak, you might find it entertaining. But you need to always have a conscience about what you're doing. You cannot liberate your mind from your own thinking and your own pondering about your whole being if you decided to somehow agree or to somehow fancy the idea of yes, I can be completely sure that what I am going to entertain myself with is 100% fine. You will end up losing yourself on, because that is what the points refer to in reality. You might as well have already fallen down a rabbit hole, so to speak, of time spending, because whoever really desires to be conscious isn't completely, how is it, isn't completely unraveled, no, enveloped in entertainment. There is nothing completely entertaining. If your whole, or if most of your existence is based on entertainment, you might as well need to revisit what is it that you're doing. No, no real objective is completely joyous. You might find a way to think of it as something joyous, but as we said before, everything has a lot of interpretations, and you need to accept that the most common ones aren't the joyous ones. For example, if you were someone who really enjoyed walking every single day 10 kilometers, you need to accept that for the average person, walking 10 kilometers isn't something enjoyable. You found a way to make it enjoyable because you might as well hear some music, think a little bit, or spend some time with somebody while doing so. But simply walking isn't enjoyable. You find ways to make it enjoyable, but simply doing things isn't enjoyable. And you are addressing those subjects that we already know are in a certain way enjoyable by themselves. As going to the definition that I was giving before, any kind of entertainment that you already know is kind of harmful to you is what really might as well be detrimental to your mind. So you might as well need to revisit whatever it is you are doing. And the funniest part is that there isn't even a necessity to specify, because you can end up falling in that rabbit hole from any kind of entertainment. Even scholars sometimes think that it's completely okay to keep learning In reality, there is a certain amount of learning that you have to. For example, also that with something, yes, something that we also talked before is the idea that there is some people who really like to overthink, and when you are overthinking, you have already gone past the point of necessity, and you are already started finding an entertainment on the act of spending hours and hours on simply thinking about whatever it is that you are facing. It isn't that you are really finding more solutions or more possible problems. It is rather that you are creating your own problems, and you are creating also your own solutions for completely impossible or completely delusional problems, so to speak. When you're overthinking, for example, because thinking by itself can be something that isn't entertaining. You can convert it into something entertaining, and you can end up also converting that same entertainment in a meaningless one because you ended up overthinking, so to speak. So it is very funny. The mind is a wonder in such ways that we might never really understand this life of ours, at least for now. Well, we have only one heavy topic left, and in this case, it is the heavy one. So, yes, this isn't so such a great one, mostly because we have directly we arrived here after talking about overthinking, and it is funny that we are going to talk directly, as I said before, directly after mentioning overthinking, that you might as well not even be thinking enough. Because you need to think it about you need to think about it this way. The common mind needs between 1 and 3 hours of thinking every single day, not because it is something completely necessary, but because it is something completely fructiferous for the mind. So you might as well dedicate some time to your own mind, to your own ideas, and to your own development of concepts. Why? Because you have you have the possibility of learning, and you have the possibility of understanding things by simply unraveling the meanings that they have behind, and uniting, as one would say, concepts, and also finding correlations, finding possible answers to problems that you might have never thought about before from other perspectives. It really is weird, so in a sense, that when you decide to think more, you find it more and more good for you, so to speak. And also, sorry, I am already getting sleepy. Also, it is something funny that when you learn how great it is thinking by itself, you end up also dropping those things that aren't so helpful for your thinking, because in this case, it is more related to what I was really trying to convey before. Those meaningless things that you entertain yourself with are there only to make you not think and to make you not enjoy the act of thinking. And well, yeah, there is also a consequence with that, and it isn't such a great one, because sometimes you have to accept that because you ended up disregarding your own mind, and you ended up neglecting the simple thinking, the simple performance of your thinking mind, you might as well be losing capabilities, you might as well be losing your own base, so to speak. You might as well not be having so much consciousness about anything as you did before. as you did when you were really paying attention to things. But it also is good that at the very least you can accept that, because it is always possible to regain control of it. It, it is very, you can kind of apply it in a sense to life itself. If you were to really understand that your own life is getting out of control, just by knowing that, you might as well try to get it in your own hands once again. If you were to understand that you are neglecting your mind and you are leaving it to external factors instead of preoccupying yourself with it, or occupying, in this case, yourself with it, you might also try to think more. You might also try to understand and to have more knowledge about things than the average guy, so to speak. But I would also say it is funny to think, at least for me, it is funny to think that not only you gain the possibility of thinking more, but also you gain the tool to apply different ways of thinking to the same problem. And you might also find, for example, the most common term, you might find that when you are brainstorming on ideas, you will end up certainly finding more than one solution to a problem that you might, before to thinking about it, before you might never even thought was possible to solve, so to speak. But yes, in general, you only need to let your mind wander a little bit. And a mind that really enjoys wandering is a healthy mind. There is nothing bad with wandering. Only when you stop and spend hours and hours and hours thinking about only one specific topic, it is that you end up hurting yourself in that sense. But if you are not doing that and you are letting the whole realities that you face daily unravel in front of you, and you also ponder about them, you are doing great. Is what I can really say. What I can confidently say, even more. So yes, that's it for today. No more lectures so far. No more need to kill the potato for today. Hello. I don't know. Hello, Mr. X. We have literally just ended here, so how's it going on your side? How are you doing? How is everything going? Everything fine? Everything great? Man, amazing. So much wondering, so much pondering. Well, I think we are kind of ready to end it here. If there is no more need to ponder about anything else, and if there, I guess there shouldn't be any kind of question, right? Right? There shouldn't be any. I hope. I pray. But well, let me check. How did we end up here? How did we... How did we reach this point? Let me see. We have been going for an hour and 16 minutes. Okay. Yes, nothing else to say. Taking into account that there are no questions, time for me to end it here. Thank you everybody who stayed, and thank you everybody who paid attention. Thank you as always, bot watchers. Thank you lurkers. Thank you those who came and left because they were more interested in anything else. And as always, no. I think it is the first time I accepted thanks to me for resisting this shit. That's it. Nothing else to say. I want to sleep right now, so that's what I'm going to do after some more thinking. Yes. Thank you and goodbye to you, Mr. Kaden. Oh, stop streaming, yes.